I'm Amanda Leitner, and welcome to Rochester Rising, where I amplify the stories of Rochester entrepreneurs. Welcome to episode 216 of the podcast today. Welcome to our weekly Rochester Rising podcast. Whether this is the first time you're listening in or if you are a frequent consumer of the podcast, we welcome you here today and thank you for spending some of your time with us. This podcast aims to tell what we call inspiration capital, sharing the stories of both new and experienced entrepreneurs operating in Rochester, Minnesota. We aim to shine light on business activity and the business culture that's taking place within this city. A brand new podcast comes out every Wednesday, which you can catch really wherever you listen in to your podcasts, whether that's through our website or through Spotify, Apple Podcast, or iTunes. You can find it at all of those locations. So a new podcast comes out every Wednesday. Each Thursday, we release a short article story based on the podcast. We encourage you to please check out both the podcast and the article on our website at rochesterrising.org. We've been telling these stories of Rochester entrepreneurs for 4.5 years, so there's lots of stories both on our website and in our podcast archives, so check them out to learn more about the culture of business development and the culture of entrepreneurship taking place in Rochester, Minnesota. Here at Rochester Rising, we are the storytelling arm of Collider, which is a Rochester-based nonprofit that works toward the vision of zero barriers for entrepreneurship in the Rochester community. Collider especially serves early-stage entrepreneurs with their services. You can find out more about Collider on our website at collider.mn. That's collider.mn. All right, so now jumping into today's podcast. Today on the show, I had the opportunity to visit at his office and talk and learn more about entrepreneur and new Rochester resident Sen Wang and his business, Symmetry Acupuncture and Chinese Herbs. Sen is originally from China, where he grew up and did his studies in acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine. He moved to Portland, Oregon in 2010 and worked and learned from a mentor before moving to Eugene, Oregon in 2015, where he first opened up his business, Symmetry Acupuncture and Chinese Herbs. Last March, right at the start of shutdowns in Minnesota, Sen moved to the Rochester community where his wife was already living and working at Mayo Clinic. And this September, he reopened his business on First Avenue Northeast right by Silver Lake. So we have a great conversation to share with you today with Sen, learning more about traditional Chinese medicine, his entrepreneurial journey, and what it's been like to move an existing business to the Rochester community and relaunch it in the middle of a global pandemic. All right, so we'll launch right into the podcast today with Sen Wang and Symmetry Acupuncture and Chinese Herbs. Usually to start, I just like to, have everyone share a little bit about yourself. So can you talk a little bit about your background, what you like to do in your free time? So basically what makes you, you?
All right, so definitely I'm from a different country. I'm from China. And I studied and get my training and get my degrees back in China. And I moved to United States 2010. To Portland. I lived there, worked with my mentor for a few years, and then I moved to Eugene and started my own business there. And after a few years, I met my wife, and she found a job at Mayo. That's why we moved here last year. And so a little more about myself, what I like. I'm really into skiing. That's my favorite thing. So, but summertime I like any kind of outdoor things, outdoor sports. I like hiking, I like kayaking, I like cycling, like that. Yeah, you name it. Usually I think I do it. Any kind of outdoor thing.
Yeah, I suppose there's a lot more skiing in Eugene than here.
Yeah. Here is pretty flat. Here is pretty flat. So a little bit disappointed after I moved here. That's a part I miss about Oregon.
Do you do any cross country skiing at all?
Not much, because there's a lot of hills in Oregon, so I just do downhill skiing.
Yeah.
Like the huge mountains.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's totally different experience.
Yeah, and it's really cold here.
Right, and that too. Yeah, I suppose. What's the one? Welsh Village. That's
Welsh
probably
Village. Yeah.
not that exciting though.
yeah. I think that's the most exciting hill. Yeah, around this area. Yeah.
That is probably true. Yeah.
So I go there almost every weekend.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you gonna go this weekend since it's gonna be like
It's way
20?
too cold.
Yeah.
No. I tried to go last Saturday, but I only stayed there for like 45 minutes.
That's still a while.
But
it probably takes you longer to get there.
Yeah, it's just way too cold, way colder than what I expect.
Yeah.
Because I never did any kind of outdoor sports in that temperature before.
Yeah.
So I didn't know.
No one knows. I mean, you can't even explain it.
Yeah, I feel painful. Yeah.
So how long have you been in Rochester then? It's been about a year or
a little bit less than a year.
A little bit less than a year.
Yeah,
okay.
I moved to Rochester, I think, let's see, last March, actually, before the huge shutdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I reopened my clinic here last September.
Okay.
So it's been a few months. Yeah.
So this is really your first experience with winter and winter in the upper Midwest.
Yeah. Actually, I have a few days. I spent a few days here last winter.
Okay.
Yeah, because my wife, she already moved here in 2019. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we separated for a year. Like that.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll talk about that more, opening a business in a community in a pandemic. But
Yeah, it's very unique experience.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really appreciate that. I knew that that was about the timeline, but hadn't thought about it too much.
Yeah.
So how did you originally get started and get interested in traditional Chinese medicine? And I know we talked about this before, and you said that's just what everyone does.
Because traditional Chinese medicine, that's like pretty popular back in China. Like myself, well, since since childhood, I myself got a lot benefit from traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture. So like every time I got sick, my mom brought me to see Chinese doctors to get help. Even I didn't like the decoction, the formula, how it tastes, but it really helped. That's why I started to build up some interesting about traditional Chinese medicine, and gradually, get more and more into this, and I decide to I don't know. I just decide to try to see if I really like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can you talk more about people listening about kind of the traditional types of treatment, like acupuncture, cupping, herbal remedies? Can you talk more about those and the benefits?
Okay. So traditional Chinese medicine, that's pretty much it's a whole picture. A whole thing is like that's before, like 100 years ago, before the allopathic Western medicine was introduced into China. That's the only medical system in China. So just like allopathic medicine, we treat everything, like just use a different tools, use different theory to treat any kind of disease. But like Chinese medicine, every kind of medical system has its advantage and has its shortage. So Chinese medicine is very good at any kind of chronic, complicated conditions, because Chinese medicine we think about the problem from a different way. So it may be really complicated, really hard to figure out what happened from allopathic medicine, but it may be not too complicated for us because the way we're thinking are quite different. Yeah. So, like for myself, like usually I treat is definitely like people know acupuncture is very good for pain management. So I treat a lot of injury or chronic pain management, and also I help a lot of emotional issue, like stress, anxiety, like that. But also Chinese medicine, because it's very good at any kind of chronic conditions. So I treat a lot of chronic internal conditions, like respiratory condition like asthma, or allergic rhinitis, like that, or chronic digestion issue, chronic diarrhea, chronic constipation, IBS, ulcerative colitis, stomach ulcer, and like a lot of different type of chronic internal conditions.
So we were talking a little bit about your business, Symmetry Acupuncture and Chinese herbs. So for people who haven't been here before, how would you describe the business and the services that you offer?
So actually, a lot of people come to see me. Most of the people come to see me. They either had acupuncture or Chinese medicine before, or they already did some research, or like their relatives had some experience, so introduced to them. So I don't need to do a lot of introduction to them, because they have some kind of knowledge already. What I need to do is focus on the patient's his own conditions and explain. Usually use some metaphor to explain what happens inside, what we think from Chinese medicine's perspective, and how's the treatment, and what they should feel, what's the change they should feel after the treatment, like that. So it's pretty specific.
Right. So focusing on the individual.
Yeah, more focused on the individuals.
Yeah, moving towards wholeness. And most people are already familiar with
acupuncture. So if they know nothing, usually it's just try to see if it works or not.
Sure.
So a lot of times the more important is how they feel after the treatment, and after they get this benefit, they start to build the trust, and then I can do a lot more education. First, you have to believe this kind of thing, and then it's easier to get knowledge. Yeah,
I think that makes sense. Yeah, build up the trust.
Yeah, that's the most important thing.
Get something to work, and then explore other.
Yeah, start to build a relationship. Between me and my patients.
So you originally started the business, like you said, in Eugene.
Yeah.
So can you talk about, from finishing up your studies, which we're always learning, but anyway, finishing up your formal education, and then opening the business. So your first business in Eugene.
Yeah.
So what was that process kind of like for you? Like, did you have mentors? Did you work for somebody else to learn?
Yes, I worked for my mentor before.
Okay.
He had a clinic in Portland.
Okay.
So I worked for him for a couple of years. That's why I get some experience, like how to run the clinic, how to open the clinic. But the different thing is he is already famous. So, and he also there's a acupuncture school there. He is a professor there. So he already built his reputation. So he doesn't pay any effort to try to get new patient, or try to find new patients to increase his patient population. Yeah, so patient always come to see him. Yeah, and he has a lot of students, and obviously his students like him, so they come to see him. Their relatives came to see him. So
really, learning how to attract patients.
How to build up my network. That's a brand new thing.
That was something you had to learn.
Yeah, that's something I have to learn.
I feel like that's the hardest part. Like you said, when you already have your name out there, and I'm sure that wasn't your mentor's experience in the beginning.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's hard to relate back to what that was like when you're like growing.
Yeah. And how he started, that was like 30 years ago. It's different. Everything is different now.
Yeah, absolutely. No Facebook, no.
Yeah.
Online marketing.
He even doesn't have a website.
Okay.
Even now, he doesn't have a website.
Just doesn't need it.
He doesn't need it.
Yeah.
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 Only thing he has is a phone number.
You know what? It works for some people, especially when you're like really established.
Yeah.
For a long time. I feel like especially in a lot of kind of acupuncture businesses and things like that, just word of mouth is.
Yeah, word of mouth. That's most important.
So when you got to Eugene, what did you find was successful for putting your name out there?
Definitely join some business group to start build some network. That really helped. Because like acupuncture is this kind of medical field. It's very different than other kind of thing. We don't sell product, right? The more important is our service, our treatment works, and because it's like a medical treatment, people need to have some kind of trust first, and they try to, and then they try to get your service, get the treatment from you, and so it's pretty hard. Yeah, it takes me quite some time to build this kind of trust and build this kind of population and I think after 1 or 2 years I start to get more and more from like word of mouth. A lot of my patients, they refer their relatives, their friends, come to see me, and things just getting better and better like that.
So how long did you run the business in Eugene?
I start from 2015, so 5 years.
5 years. And then you moved to Rochester with your wife.
Yeah.
So during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So we'll launch into that. So what was it like to open up a business during a pandemic? So I'm assuming, could you have patients in person in the beginning?
No, that's why I didn't start during the shutdown. I didn't start during the shutdown. I start after. That's why I opened my clinic in September.
Okay. Okay. So.
Yeah, definitely I couldn't do anything during the shutdown.
I didn't realize it was that long of a shutdown.
Yeah.
Wow. So. That had to have been a really hard time because you've moved here ready to start and you can't do anything.
Yes.
Did you?
I had a lot of free time. Yeah.
Yeah. So did you have your location here at that time, or were you already renting space?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
So I waited a little bit because of shutdown. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So at least you weren't like out money because you were renting a space.
No.
Okay.
I was looking for a space and the shutdown came and.
Okay. So then you opened in September. So what was that process? Well, first of all, what's your take on the Rochester market compared to Eugene? Do you think they're similar, different? What are you seeing?
It's quite different. Like people in West Coast are more educated about allopathic Chinese medicine. So a lot of like I said, a lot of people like they had experienced themselves before, or most of their relatives had experience before. They are more familiar with like how acupuncture can help them. But here is like a lot of people, they don't know what acupuncture can help. A lot of thing is like they try many other ways try to help them, but didn't work. That's why acupuncture just won't stop. That's it. But after they get the benefits, they get improvement, they will just keep here, keep coming back.
Right. It's just getting them in the door the first time. So you start in September. How did you spread word about your business in the community? What was successful to you getting used to the environment here in the business community?
So definitely join some like business group.
Okay.
That's one thing, but another thing is because I had my clinic back in Eugene for quite some years, so I already built some reputation on the internet. The good part is Google allow me to relocate my clinic from Oregon to Minnesota, so I can like bring all this reputation with me. So that helped a lot. Yeah, so that can help me to start much faster than before.
That's true, because you have, assuming Google reviews and everything like
Yes.
that, and you could
Because these other kind of business group, right now it's pandemic, right? Even right now, we still do online things.
Right.
So it's really hard to build that kind of relationship because usually you have to meet people in person, right?
Yeah.
You can have to talk a lot with them, and then you can start to build the trust. And it's really hard right now.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's very hard. You know, grew our team from 2 people to now 7 during the pandemic.
Wow.
Which has been, I mean, temporarily 7 right now. As we talked about, I have a intern for a few months, but and he's there in person, but it's been really challenging to bring on team members when they really have never been in the office with you.
Yeah.
You know, so I can't imagine what it's like to get to know a community.
Yeah.
But there are businesses in the space, you know, like what's the one up here, Rochester Clinic.
Yeah, Rochester Clinic.
Yeah, so there's some education base in the community, but yeah, I would say it's a lot of Western medicine following here.
Yeah. I think Minnesota is the most open area in Midwest. It's way more open than other states. So that's a good part.
It's a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, it's way more opportunity than other states like South Dakota, North Dakota, like that.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So we talked a little bit about the space. So you have a location here near Silver Lake that you were looking for while you were kind of here waiting. Did you find, so when you were looking through commercial real estate, did you find a lot of options? Did it take you a while to find this place, or what was your experience with that?
It really surprised me actually when trying to find a location, because we heard a lot of news because of the pandemic, right? There's a lot of shutdown. I thought there must be a lot of locations available, but actually it was not. Pretty limited. It'll take me really quite some while to find right size. Yeah. It's much harder than what I thought.
Yeah, and there's, I would say, more new space than older space, which is, new space is obviously a lot more expensive, you know, and you have to take more room, but this is a great location. You have parking. You have other businesses in here too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a nice environment here that's close to downtown, but
the location is pretty good. Yeah,
a lot more affordable. Yeah, and you come here and your wife goes down to Mayo.
Yeah, but right now she just works from home.
She's working from home.
She has been working from home for a whole year now.
But she was here at least in 2019, so she met people in person.
Yeah, she met people in person, so that's a good part.
Yeah, that would be a challenge too.
Yeah.
I guess, so what are you kind of looking forward to here in the community, here with your business, now that things are starting to open up a little bit more? What are you kind of excited about this year?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to making more communications with others to let more people to know about acupuncture, Chinese medicine, and what I can do, how can I help them, and how acupuncture, Chinese medicine works. That's kind of thing that's important. Yeah, not only for my business, it's also good for let more people know about this kind of medical system. It's kind of like a culture thing.
Yeah. Like you said, once we can interact more in person.
That will be much easier.
Yeah, it'll be much easier for everybody. So yeah, a question I like to ask everybody, why, you could be doing a lot of other things with your life. Why are you passionate about this and doing this kind of work?
A lot of people ask me about that. To myself, I think doing acupuncture Chinese medicine is like each case is like a puzzle, and I like to solve the puzzle, like to be like a detective to find the crime, who's the criminal, right? There's a lot of fun there to figure out how to solve the problem. And after people get improvement, I feel happy. I feel pretty satisfied. That's why and there's always challenge because human body is always complicated. There's always mystery there. So always have some very interesting case. So I think I like challenge. That's why I like it.
I love that, thinking about it like a puzzle and trying to figure out who the criminal is.
Yeah.
And too, like, I'm sure a lot of times people, it's hard for them to tell you what they're experiencing. So you kind of have to figure it out too.
And actually it's pretty straightforward because I know after treatment, I know what kind of experience, what kind of thing they should feel. If the people really get improvement, they should feel the same thing I told them. So they will notice what they should focus on. Yeah, what they should like for example, like someone has IBS, right? A lot of diarrhea and constipation like that. After treatment, I said like next week, like maybe less bloated feeling, a little bit less constipation, and diarrhea will be like more stable, less like fluctuate like between constipation and diarrhea, maybe more towards just one thing like that. So they know what they should expect. Yeah, and after they really feel that, they not only they feel like the change, feel the improvement, they also know I really know their body. So I really know what will happen and what will happen in the future. So that really helped me to build the trust. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, like you said, it's all about trust.
Yeah.
It's all about relationship building.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I have a couple fun questions to wrap up that I've been asking everybody. I feel like we already talked about one of them, but I'll ask you it again anyway. But so, like you were talking about, trying to launch a business in the community during a pandemic is hard.
Yeah.
How do you stay positive during all that? So how do you set your mindset to push through all of that and everything that we face in business and life and everything? How do you stay positive?
I think naturally I'm a very positive person.
See, I envy people like that because I'm the complete opposite.
Yeah. So I'm a very positive person. So any kind of positive change, I really get that. I feel that, and that can be my motivation. Yeah.
So you're just naturally,
I think it's just naturally happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to work on that. I usually, look for all the things that are going to go wrong.
But that's good. Yeah, that's good.
In a sense.
Yeah. Sometimes that's really necessary. Yeah.
It is. It's like, what is that, fight or flight or something like that?
Yeah.
Survival.
Yeah.
So my second question, which I feel you already answered a little bit. So, it's February, winter. Do you have any traditions that you like to do during the winter time? Besides skiing.
Because Minnesota is so cold. There's not much else I can do.
I know.
Right? I tried to do some hiking, but wow, that was way too cold.
Yeah.
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 With the wind chill, that's really not fun.
I feel like we're going to get out of it soon, though.
Yeah.
Another week or two, and we'll be at least... Then you'll be able to go skiing again.
Yeah. Next week should be much warmer. Yeah.
Next week should be warmer, yes.
Yeah.
But have you ever been to, I don't know if it's any better than Welsh, but Afton?
I've been there before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that
it's
better?
less.
It's okay.
There's less fun. Yeah.
Okay. And
it's way more crowd, and the slope is not as good as Welsh.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I don't ski, so I haven't been either, but I have ran races in Afton, and it's pretty hard to run there, so I didn't know if it would be also hard to ski there, but that's probably a totally different experience.
It's different. Yeah, it's different. Totally different experience.
Yes. That was my last question for you. I'll ask you for final thoughts, and where's the best place for people to find you and connect with you and your business?
The easiest way is find me on the internet, right? That's the easiest. I have all my information there. My website, my phone number, and my a brief introduction of myself.
Perfect. And we can include that in the notes so they can go right to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, thank you so much for this conversation today. I appreciate your time, and yeah.
Yeah, thank you for your time to give me this chance to chat with you.
Thanks. Thanks so much to Sen for sharing his entrepreneurial story and journey with us today. You can find out more about his business through the link in our bio. So that's a wrap for our podcast today. Thank you so much for tuning in and sharing some of your time with us today to learn more about entrepreneurship and business development taking place in Rochester, Minnesota. It would be a major help to us if you enjoyed this podcast. If you like the podcast, wherever you're listening in, make sure that you're subscribed and rate the podcast so that others can find it and learn more about these amazing entrepreneurs in Rochester. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you here next week with a brand new episode.